Hopefully everyone's doing fine, doing well, holding safe. Just wanna get back to recording. But yeah, again, welcome everyone to the Youth of Tomorrow podcast. Welcome to the Youth of Tomorrow podcast. Today we are talking about what are you doing, and the main focus is on making plans for your future. How can you properly, strategically plan things accordingly, and when is the right time to do it? Can you do it young? Wait. Let's get into the quote before I get into anything else. So the quote of today is, every human has a purpose. Ones who know will be clear, but ones who don't latch onto others' path. Whew. Let me just say that one more time. And I'll say it very slowly. Every human has a purpose. Ones who know their path, they will be clear. They're clear in the direction that they want to go. But the ones who don't latch on to others' path, to other people's destiny. And it's importance that I have the emphasis on purpose, having your own direction in life where no one can derail you, no one can influence your decision on saying, hey, I have this path, I want to go here, and tell me different. You may say, okay, you can go here to maybe experience some things, but I have my own lane. I have my own things to get done, and that's what I'm gonna do. So you stay there and do your thing, I'll do my thing. If you can do something together, cool. But I'm on my own path and I'm doing my own thing to make a proper lasting legacy on everything I do for the next generation, and everyone can see, hey, this guy know what he wanted to do in life, and we respect him and all this stuff. But let's get into the show before I go down that rabbit hole, right? So the first question I have on the agenda is, why plan? Why plan things? Why do people go out of their way to literally have written down information and have things in place to say, okay, I have this to do, that to do, this, and have list upon list of things that they want to accomplish? Why? Isn't it for order? Is it for structure? And not even to say to plan things. Just say plan your personal life, which is where I want to lead this discussion. Why plan for your personal things? Is it for your accomplishments in terms of reaching certain goals in life? Is it to have a fulfillment of saying, hey, I know where I want to go. I may not be where I want to be now, but hey, I have things in place, strategically placed. Okay, even if I fell off, I could say, all right, let me go right here, right where I stopped, and say, okay, continue the journey. Because everyone has their own journey, You know, God put us in this earth to experience life, but in our own unique way. So we have to see what things are out there so we can experience it, so we can carve our own path of life, till eventually, when everything is said and done, we will meet our maker and we'll be fulfilled with our personal needs. But again, I'm just one person. That's just a specific thing for just one person. I'm not talking for the whole population. But I do believe some might agree and say, well, that's kind of where I want to go. That's something I wanted to do, but I'm going to do it in my own way. That is what makes everyone unique. It's saying, okay, I'm going to be a millionaire. How I'm going to be a millionaire? Am I going to start doing Shopify stores? Am I going to go in corporate America, grind and grind for like 10 years and be an expert in my field? Or being in STEM, being in, I don't know, cybersecurity, being in an agency, entity, whatever you want to do, you do. And you have your own path. You have your own things that you want to accomplish. And I think why people plan is to fulfill those things. To say, okay, because you don't want to be that one guy. You really don't want to be that one individual that says, after like 10 years, you haven't done much, you haven't really went out as much, you haven't lived life as you wanted to as much, you haven't really gone mingle with some interesting partners. Not to say you have to go do that nightclub nonsense, you don't need to, but to have conversations with the opposite sex. And enjoying each other's company and vibing and feeling good, But you don't want to be that guy that just sit on his ass and just let life goes and you just stay there in your game just playing Fortnite. And yeah, I don't want to be that. But hopefully persons that are in that life get out of it, because there's so much to life than just doing the regular things, But wanting to say, is there, I want to pose this question. Are there like hierarchies in what you want to accomplish? Hierarchies meaning or you don't even have to say hierarchies. What are like the priorities? You don't even have to say hierarchies. What are the priorities? What are the things that you need to accomplish first? What are the types of things you want to accomplish? Is it, to be financially free? Because you have to look in the broader spectrum in terms of the prioritizing things. Because let's say you want to do a project, you want to do a design project. What are the things that you have to do to complete such thing? So you have to go to a broad spectrum so you can pinpoint those details to accomplish those things, so then you can go through things one by one. So let's say you're in the beginning times of doing design and you want to create a portfolio piece for, I don't know, a coffee brand. You will have to learn logo design. You will have to learn color palettes. You will have to learn the designer eye. You have to learn creative arts. Not the extensive amount of creative arts, but learning how to be creative. And that's what I mean in terms of having things in a high priority list, to say, okay, let's study how to be creative. A broad spectrum, right? But you have to say, okay, what are the things that I can do? Go down the list and say, I'm going to do this to this. I think I might go in a different topic, but I'm kind of glad I went to it. But essentially, what are the type of things that you wanted to do? It depends on the person, right? Because if you want to talk about hierarchy, it's some things that is ranked. What are the things that you have to accomplish to lead to a certain goal? Because you can't start from the highest to low. You always have to start from the lowest to high. So that's why I'm giving those points to say, okay, what are the things that you need to start first? And then you go through things and say, okay, looks like I'm on the right track, and move accordingly, Not thinking that you're wasting time, because you're not. With that being said, and I'm actually a victim of this. When is the best time to plan? I know everyone in the crowd is saying, youth. Yeah, I want to plan when I'm 13, 12, 10, 15. Well, I can say yes. I can say you can plan things out when you're 20, when you're maybe 25, maybe when you're, 37. It all depends on the person. But for me, I wanted to play everything I wanted to do when I was like 15. But I just never knew I had the ability to do things when I step into them at a later age. Because let's say, for instance, because there's a bit of a notion of wasting your 20s on partying, drinking, and socializing. I'm not with that. I'm 20 now, and I feel unaccomplished now. Back, like, I wish I was here when I was 15. Like, I wish I knew what I knew now at like maybe 15, 16 years old, coming out of high school, because afterwards I kind of just stay home for a year or two and got a job at the radio station. Shout out to Observer Radio. I just did my thing. But if I only thought about, doing courses online, um, you know, building a portfolio, building a resume, all that stuff when I was 15, I would have been in a bit of a better place right now. But I can't reflect on the past, but I do have something in store for the future, which is what it matters. And even if you're 35, you still have years left. And I know in your 35 years, you have a lot of things you've seen. You have a lot of opportunities in your hands. Because, of course, there's like a lot of stigma of young people in the workplace. So let's say if you are into construction and you've done construction, you haven't really went to school, but you've learned a lot about a lot of things with planning things, doing blueprints, all that stuff. And you've done that for maybe 20 years and you created a skill. You can literally use that same experience, because even if you're 35 and you plan to build your own business and you have at least 25 years experience, you can do that. Even if started even if you had went to school, didn't know what you wanted to do, but you became interested in something and did it for a long time because you like it, and you got a little pay just for a little bit of stability to have a little fun with your life, and have fun with your life, and you went into the career world and you wanted to build things and have some contractor brought you in for projects. You learn a lot of things with construction and building, and with that experience you said, hey, I'm 30 to going on 32 right now. I'm 31 going to 32, and say, okay, cool, I want to own my own business. And you can do it because you have experience, but there's a lot of things you have to plan out to run that said business, because you can't run a business without marketing, without people, without proper equipment. You can run the equipment, but you need to have money to run the equipment, right? So there's a lot of things you have to do, but I tend to believe, opinion, as young as possible. I mean, and it also goes to having experience in the world. And it also goes with my grievance, my kind of gripe with school, not giving young people the opportunity to experience the world, the real world, at a young age, so people can see, oh, that's what outside is. That's what my parents have to go through. Wow, nice. killing it. But yeah, if you have the experience, because I only thought about doing business and doing all this stuff, even if I had the money from my parents, I never knew that wanted to own many businesses and do this, and that, and thought about taxes, thought about, business plans or marketing strategies. I never knew about that until I was like 18, when I had the interest, because I had the world experience to say, maybe I can do this, and then immediately start planning everything, and now I'm here. But I really believe if you can get into the world first, as young as you can, then, because there's not a number that I can really point to, because there's a lot of people who plan things later down the line, maybe when they're like, let's say 40. And because I have a cousin of mine that, don't want to put his business out there, say the name, but I have this person in my family that is almost in their 40s or past their 40s, and they haven't really gone much, like, not real experience, because they've done things with other companies, but haven't a degree or something, haven't really certified in anything, and just never really had the opportunity to explore other skills to attain to be more valuable in the marketplace. And I just say, hey, go to Coursera, go somewhere and do this, and learn these skills, and you'll be good. And I challenge him to do it in 2 months. So hopefully I can get a little update soon. But it doesn't matter, really. You can plan something right now as I'm talking. It's, what do you want to do? And it doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter if it's like next week or time. You have to get in the groove. You have to say, hey, even if I'm 25, I haven't really done that much, no fear. Just dance and say, hey, I'm not worrying about things. I don't care that I'm 25. I can start a little business right now and plan a lot of things accordingly. Even if, and especially when you're young, by the way. Especially when you're young. Because a lot of young people right now are literally thinking that they can waste their 20s. I'm going to that point again. They think that they can waste their 20s and think that everything is going to be okay. I'm not going to struggle a bit, but I'll just go to OnlyFans. I'll just go to YouTube and make a YouTube channel. I'm good. I can go to corporate. I can just go to college and maybe learn something and maybe get a little corporate job or something. But it goes deeper than that. It's, what are the things you want to put in place to leave a legacy? What are the things that you strategically put in place to say, even if I don't reach $1 million, maybe I can reach 300,000. Maybe I can reach a sustainable 3K a year, 3K a month. I'm sorry, a 3K a month. Maybe I can say, okay, I can make 4,000 and live below my means, or grind, hustle, connect, and do things when I'm in my 20s, when I'm active and boom, 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 boom. Just active, right? I can just use that time to be active and everything, and said, okay, my life when I'm like maybe 40, I can just be a teacher. I can mentor people. I can mentor other staff members if I'm in corporate. I can use my experience to teach other corporate people in my industry and just be a full time mentor. You never know what you can do if you haven't planned, and plan as early as possible, and have that mindset to go and plan and execute, which is a whole other story, by the way. It's a whole other story to execute on things that you want to do. And I had a little discussion in my Discord group. Also, shout out to Tribal Business Community. They're doing a great amount of things. Just shout out Sam and everyone. Love those people. Love those people. Also, shout out to Johnny. But I've talked to some of the members yesterday, and one of them told me, hey, because I was talking about what are the things that I want to do now? What are the things that I believe that I want to do? Because I want to do them. I have the drive, I have everything I need, but I want to do things that makes an impact. And what the person said is, well, wanting to do things and doing things is a whole different thing. And it, even if, let's say for instance that I wanted to build a business, which is really what this whole series is about, building a business and do things in business, right? Let's say I wanted to build a little coffee brand. I would do bubble tea. And the market doesn't really have people that does bubble tea. But the thing about it is, I wanted to do something else. I may want to do DJing, but the market really wants bubble tea. And even if there is not a demand, there's no one doing it. So I can literally create the demand. Interesting, right? It's putting now you're going to say, okay, I can do this, and plan accordingly. And that's what I'm trying to make young people understand is, even if you have something that you want to do and you have a lot of aspirations, execution is the number one thing in doing any sort of thing that you want to do to impact anything. Planning and execution is two of the I can argue execution is more important than planning, but that's up for another discussion, another debate for another time. But really and truly, having plans and doing it in a form of fashion and actually executing on them is very, very important. And if you can do it as young as you can, you will understand what I'm talking about. You feel so on track and you'll be so fulfilled and feel like you have a purpose. You feel like you want to just run around the house and say, yeah, I got something I want to do. I got plans, yeah, and I'm executing them perfectly. But it's either here or there. Before I go into a whole other tangent, a whole other thing, let us go to a break. And we'll be right back. And yeah, welcome back again to the Youth with Tomorrow podcast. Again, my name is Jabari Danvers, and the topic today is what are you doing in terms of making plans for your life. Now, we left off in the discussion of young people planning out their lives, and not really young people, but how, like, what's like the age. And I'm saying, well, there's not really an age technically. It's not really an age, but let's kind of deviate. Let's kind of pivot to another thing. We kind of spend a bit too much time on that. So the next thing on the agenda is there a problem when over planning? Like, is over planning things good? Is it something that it's just not ethical? Not really ethical, but is it something that might turn you insane or be too fine tuned in your decision making? Not, but is it too focused on doing the planning and all this stuff and going into depth and doing this and doing that days on days on days until you can't even execute or anything? Yes. It definitely does. It definitely does. Why? Why it does? It's a mental clock, it's a mental cycle that you will go into to constantly fix this and make this better. And oh, this might not be the thing I need to do. I can do it this way and this way and this way, this way, and 15 other things that may not even go with the plan to begin with. But you will want to constantly go at it and think that maybe this can be a part of the plan. Maybe I can implement this and do this and do it this way. It's just not. It just won't help you. Really, it just won't help you, and it actually can be cancerous. You know, it actually can really mess you up. It can really, really, really mess you up if you don't be careful. Like, I'm reading from this article. I was reading this article today from success.com. One of the things they talked about is over planning can create worry. And I'm at the opposite spectrum of that, because for me it's not the planning to be worried thing. It's not have that side effect. I do may over plan a couple of things, but it's not seeking to the end goal. It's I may over plan some things but want to make sure that it's fine tuned. But I do worry that if I don't plan at all, I'm Saul. I'm just not even in the picture. But that's again near there. That's a different story for another time. But this article is spot on, and let me just read this insert from success.com that says over planning creates worry. Worry is cancer. It has the potential to become an actual cancer. But it's a mental cancer that spreads quickly and without warning. If we are not aware of the causes of anxiety on our dreams, we can destroy our dreams in a matter of days, hours, and even minutes. The moment that you are going all around your head, just try to have a clear sense of direction, that worry cycle will go way too much and way too far that you could completely lose track, I would say lose your mind, because you will have things that you want to do. Yes, you want to do them, but you worry so much that if you don't do these things at a certain time, that you won't accomplish anything. And it's just not that, you know. If especially when you're young, I had a lot of that when I was coming up. You know, I may not overplan things, but because it's almost the same thing. You know, if I'm worrying that if I don't plan, I won't accomplish much when I'm older. But I do get the point of, if you overplan things, you do get worried. So it's the same thing if you really think about it. Because it goes to the same cycle of overplanning, and be in a wasteland of just loss and just being lost and just don't know where to go. And it's the same thing in doing nothing and be in that same wasteland and saying, "Oh my God, I'm wasting too much time. I'm doing this, but I'm not doing this, that, and this. I need to plan. I need to go into books. I need to plan this." And it's the same thing. It's the same thing, and it can cause a cancer. It's cancerous. It's dangerous. Just like how people say, "I have too much people on my mind, too much people are surrounding me, I'm getting anxiety," and blah blah blah. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. But what you need to do, you need to understand, to say, okay, maybe I can do some things sometime. May not be right away, but I can say, okay, after I play a game or two of, because if you want to do some critical activities, like maybe go outside and do some washing, or go down the road by your partners and just play some domino and all that, and just get your mind in a nice, cool, calm, free mindset. Cool, calm, clean place. And when you come home, you're all excited and all this stuff. And maybe when you're out, ideas may come to your mind and say, "Oh, maybe I can do this and this and that and this and this." And you, while you're playing dominoes, and doing your stuff, you go home and say, what are things that I can do right now that may impact things that I will be doing when I'm older? And now you're getting in that cycle. Now you're going to talk about, oh, maybe I have some interest in this. Let's say if I would want to go into this industry, let me plan some things so that maybe, if even if I don't, I have a blueprint to say, okay, I can do this, do this, do this, and it can lead me down the road to something great. That's an example of saying, well, stop worrying about things and realize, well, you have life, you have a breath. Thank God for another day. Use the day wisely. And don't think, because as soon as someone here use it wisely, someone's going to be worried. No. Just breathe. And you're still alive. You're not a COVID. You don't have any symptoms. You don't have any diseases. You're still alive and well, active and everything. So just stay calm and plan things. Even if you haven't planned things to send, just plan something this day. And maybe you have a little connection thing that you want to try out the next day. And maybe you want to learn some marketing things the next day. And you want to learn some business structures the next day. You have 24 hours in a day, and you can freely do what you need to do. But understand that you have to use it strategically. You have to use it really, really, really fine. Even if you want to do it in a broad, loose perspective, loose area, Doesn't matter. At least you have something that you want to focus on, right? Can you agree? Yeah, you agree that you can say, hey, I'm doing this today, and maybe it can lead me into some other stuff that I may get to do another day. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta love vehicles. But yeah, you can say, okay, let me do this and do that, and maybe, 10 minutes in doing this, and you finish, you're like, I feel I want to do something else. And that's the cycle. But if you put your foot forward, but you never plan, over plan anything, put 15 things, didn't want to plan 15 things at once, didn't you? But you wanted to do one thing, and it just so happens that it goes to something else. And that's the point I'm trying to make is, you know, it's, it's it's not really that much to, plan things, and no need to overplan because sometimes something go into something else. And it's not a bad thing also to consistently plan things. It's not really a bad thing. It's really not, you know, because you have your goals, you have your objectives, um, you have your reasonable things that can be attainable at certain times, and of course, meet people on the way to advise you, and they can share their story on things that they have faced and things that they have done in that same time frame and that same experience, and just tell you, hey, I've done this, and maybe you will experience this, but maybe you can do this, maybe you can do this, and give advice on things that may benefit you in the long run. But it's not a problem to consistently plan, but the intention matters. You know, the purpose matters. It's sticking to the end goal is what's most important in having a consistent go around in your plan development. Again, going back to, building a business. If you want to, at 18, when you're thinking about going to college, but you want to go do a little cook shop, or sell knickknacks for like $15, whatever it may be, and you want to plan a little trial and see if people like it, and do a little tra- you know test run of that whole thing called business, and see if it can work, and maybe I can go into something. The maybe can the maybe be something, can lead you into something. But again, if you have like an end goal in mind, you can consistently put things here and there to say, okay, this looks a little it looks a little promising. It looks a little promising here. Maybe I can do something here, and maybe it can work out. But the consistent go and do and feel and everything, it's pretty important. And I think it's healthy because it's putting off other things. It's like putting things to the side while you're going around your life, right? It's saying, okay, maybe today I can study on this. Maybe tomorrow. It goes back to what I was in over planning things. Maybe I can do some things this day and that day, and maybe it can work out for me in the long run. But the consistency in saying, okay, I'm gonna stick to something. I'm gonna stick to a schedule and see how things work. I'm gonna stick to this little plan I have, and maybe it can work. But if you don't stick to it, and abide by it and be about it and have purpose behind it, it just won't be done. And you're just gonna be there like, oh, I don't know what I want to do in my life. I thought about something, but it just didn't really work out for me. But yeah, it's not a problem in terms of having something to help should like consistently plan things out. It's not. It's healthy. It's pretty cool. It's pretty nice and pretty cool. And you can always pivot to things. So it's not even. Yeah, you love cars, right? You love cars. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can pivot whatever you want to. So it's your life, sweetie. You can do what you want, but be smart about it. Well, next thing on the agenda. Is there a stigma around planning your life? No. Because when you're coming up in school, everyone wants to plan things for the later future. Right? Maybe not a lot of people, but there's straying away people from not planning things. That not a person say, "Oh, you're planning out your life. Ew, that's disgusting." And if there's a person like that, you're ignorant, and you won't do anything in life. On God, you're not fit for anything in life. Just that simple principle in planning things, period, and you're having disagreements about that, you're just not gonna do anything with your life. Period. I'm serious. Like, I don't understand if you want to do something and it's your thing and you want to plan things, which is really how anything gets done in having an exponential amount of things planned out to say, okay, I gotta do this, and when I'm doing this, finish this, do next thing and next thing and next thing, and strategically go to other things. It's not bad. It's not really bad, but what is a bit of a stigma is planning for the end of your life, which is a large topic, by the way. But either way, it's still good. It is still good because if you're in your 20s and you're planning out to your 40s, eventually the things that you will do in your 40s have been accomplished already, and you've been in a better place in your 40s, and you can plan out your rest of your life, and you can live whatever you want to do and do whatever you need to do, and plan, I don't know, plan to do some seminars, or plan to start a little business, or plan to do some mentorships, or plan to do anything. You can do art. You can just do anything because you've already strategically put things in place to say, all right, I can do a lot of things in my 20s now, do like walk into my prime in my 30s, and in the 40s I kind of rest off. I may do some seminars, some mentorships and other things, but I can take that same and just do all of that until I die. It's not no problem because you've accomplished a lot. And even if you have things that may fall over into your 50s, it doesn't matter because you're still good at things. You're still thriving to do things. So just keep that in mind. It's just keep that in mind, man. I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole, so just bear with me. I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. And the last thing is how to plan your life strategically. So, how to plan your life in a way that you're not wasting time. Now, it's not the because there's a lot of examples. There's so many examples of tips and tricks and experiences. Okay, maybe it's guide and doing this and that and this and that. It's a lot of examples, but at the center of all of that, the one thing that doesn't change is purpose. Out of all, you may say, okay, I have this thing, but I can do this, that, but at the center of everything, it's purpose. Because it's not really a how. You can say, okay, I have this thing, have this idea that I want to do. What are the things that can contribute for that thing to be done? And you can list out what things that I need to do. What's the prerequisites for things, of the things that I need to do to reach the end goal? Or you'd even have to say that. What are the goals that you want to set to lead to the main thing you want to do in life? And also use each of those touch points to say, okay, let's say I want to do mechanical engineering and have a flourishing career and be in the highest of the high. You can literally go ahead, have that in your list, just right on top, mechanical engineer, and what are the things that you need to do to accomplish up to that level. So you can literally gamify the entire process if you want to, but it's really that. What is that center thing you want to do? What are the surrounding things that you want to get accomplished to get to it? And what is the time frame of those things that you want to do, and how relevant are they? Because you will have things, going back to the discussion, over plan things and may implement things that might not be important, and think about, okay, I want to do this, but these are the exact things I need to do to accomplish this thing, and there is no need to implement or think over. I have all what I need. I know what I want to do, so it's just to execute. That's really how you would want to strategically plan, is saying, okay, if I want to do this, you can even do it for singular goals. You have something that you want to do, but say, okay, what are the things surrounding that thing that I want to do, and how relevant are they? If you want to write a book or you want to write a blog, what are the things I need to do to surround myself to get that done, right? What are the things I need to do to surround myself that is surrounding that thing to get things done, and how long would that take, and how relevant are they? So it doesn't really matter. It just really matter. It's purpose and it's the intentions. It's things that you want to accomplish. Is what that thing you want to accomplish in life, you know? Um, I think I've talked a lot. I think it's time to end the podcast. I've really enjoyed it. Um, I will just end on this, man. Don't stress, don't worry. Just keep focus. Stick to what you need to do. Even if you're old, doesn't matter. Stick to it. Be about it. And do it. Not much to it. So, again, this is episode 5 of the Biz Talk series. What are you doing in terms of making plans for life? Hopefully everyone learned something from it. Hopefully, you know, hopefully you can take away something from it to enhance your life for the better. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the time. This is your body Danvers, straight out of Antigua and Barbuda, powered by OCO Media. slightly sponsored by Technology Sales Family and Silvertree Agencies. Have a good day, have a good time. See you guys on the